What is up, everybody, and welcome back to this episode of Touchdown and Ties, the father-daughter sports podcast discussing football and everything else in between. I'm your co-host, Brianna, the daughter of this duo.
And what up, everybody? And I'm Keith, her dad, the other co-host.
And today's episode, we're going to be wrapping up Week 12 of college football. But before we do, if you haven't already, please go ahead and follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. That way you get updated whenever we upload an episode. And of course, it also helps us out as well. All right, let's go ahead and get into it.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so first off, please excuse all backgrounds, all lightings, all the things. Both of us are on the road this week, so it's going to look a little different for these next couple of episodes while we're not in our respective homes right now.
That's all right. We're still going to get it done, though.
Still going to get it done. Still about the business. Still got to get it out. Just got to get the content. So.
I'm on the road in Philly waiting for the Sunday night game.
Yep, and I am in Florida. I actually have to do my job, so I'm on the road. A little tired, but we're going to get it going. So,
shout out to Philly, man. This is a nice town, man. I was in downtown. Okay. We staying downtown. Even though I had been here once before, I was like in and out because I was staying in New York. And we just drove over to go to a basketball game. So this is my first time actually staying in Philadelphia. The downtown Philly is very, very nice. Very nice. A lot of cool places to eat. It's very clean, contrary to what people been saying. Folks have been very friendly here so far. So we'll see.
Nice.
So shouts out to Philly.
All right. I hope that cheesesteak that you had for dinner was better than the one you had the first time.
Oh, it was 1,000% better. It was 1,000% better.
I love that.
Yeah, 1,000%.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and actually get in. Yeah, let's go ahead and actually get into the games this week. We're going to start with, as always, the home team, Michigan versus Northwestern. Now, I know you have a lot to say, but before you get into it, I do want to give Michigan some credit. It was not a great win, whatever. Michigan is 8-2. All right.
Yeah.
Way better than I thought that they were going to be this year. Okay. And
really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going off last year, so Michigan is 8-2. Kudos to them.
I think they won 8 games last year. They were 8-4, I think, last year.
I didn't know that. I did not thought they were like 5 and something, unbeknownst to me.
Because remember, they beat Bama in the bowl game last year.
They did.
So, because remember, in 2024, they beat Bama at the Rose Bowl.
Oh, yeah, Rose Bowl that we went to, right?
And then they beat them the last game of the season, Gator Bowl, whatever bowl they played them in last year. So
Irrelevant Bowl.
Irrelevant Bowl.
Exactly. So, Irrelevant Bowl. But
that's a good name for it.
Right. But I still want to give them their flowers, okay? Because they deserve some credit. And 2, which I know we'll get into, Bryce Underwood's performance was kind of up and down, right? And we'll get into the details of that. However, I do feel like he was more accurate today than he has been throughout the season. So that is hopeful, okay? I'm going to hop off my soapbox and we can get started how the game went. You said it was
It was just okay. I mean,
said it was a disaster.
It was. I guess they won the game, so I guess it wasn't a total disaster.
Yes.
But if you're looking from the standpoint of glass half full or glass half empty, I guess you can say that the glass is half full if you want to be positive about it, because I always say, you don't apologize for winning a game,
right?
But in some ways, that game kind of reminded me of the Lions Minnesota game a couple weeks ago. Detroit was coming off their bye and they played poorly. They played a sloppy game and they end up losing.
Right.
Michigan coming off their bye week with 5 turnovers in the game.
5.
Yeah, they did everything they could to give the game away. Savada missed a couple field goals. Granted, one was from 60 yards that he had enough distance on. He just pushed it to the right. Jumping off sides, giving these guys first downs. Yeah. Bryce Underwood looked good coming out the gate. I think he completed like his first 9 passes. He played well in the first half, but then the second half, he threw those 2 interceptions.
Right. In the fourth quarter, back-to-back possessions.
It was just, and then to make matters even worse, it looked like Jordan Marshall got hurt.
I don't know the update on his injury yet, but
something like that. And I was like, okay, now we done lost our top two running backs.
No, Justice Hayes one of them is serious,
had surgery.
Injury.
Yeah, so we'll wait to see what happens here with Jordan Marshall, who was having a great game. By the way. I mean, it was just, and then the timeout, like when Michigan had that last drive, they got the first down, then the coach calls a timeout. Like, why are you calling timeout in this situation? Let the clock run.
Right.
Fortunately, they were able to pick up another first down, which bailed the coach out, because had they not done that, they would have had to kick that field goal, and Northwestern still would have had maybe 30, 40 seconds to go in the game.
Right.
So it
Yeah.
just a lot of bizarre things happen in the game. I mean, again, they
Yeah.
won the game, but again, like I've said before, you're pointing towards 2 weeks from now when they play
Mhm.
Ohio State. So you want to see them
Mhm.
getting better.
Right.
And I didn't see them get better. I mean, the
I
one
mean, the
bright
last 2
spot,
games, they've arguably gotten worse. I mean,
yeah, I
because it
mean,
was too close for comfort against Purdue, against
yeah,
Northwestern. I mean, both teams where you were
right,
favored to win, you
right,
barely won. I mean, today was literally a game-winning field goal. Like you said, cool, you won the game, don't
yeah,
apologize for that. But you were a 10 and a
right,
half, almost 11-point favorite to win the game, and you
right.
struggled.
And that's what I'm looking at. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm gauging everything about, are they going to be ready come November 29th to play Ohio State? And they should be getting better, especially against what's perceived to be weaker competition. And I mean, do you have any confidence that November 29th, 2 weeks from now, that they're going to be able to beat Ohio
Yeah.
State? Heck, do you have any confidence they can beat Maryland next week
Maryland, I was gonna
with the
say
way that
that. I
they
mean,
play?
everybody keeps
Yeah.
talking
So,
about Ohio State, Ohio State, Ohio State. I know
no.
Maryland, I forget their record. They're like they've only won
Hmm.
4 or 5 games this
Yeah, they're
season. They
not
lost
good. They're
today.
not
They're not
good.
good. But they did
Mm,
start off strong because
did.
they for
Yeah.
a minute there they were doing pretty well. But then, like you said, with the I don't know if it was a rhetorical question, but the answer is no. But the way that they've been
Right.
playing against Purdue, the way that they played
Right.
today against Northwestern, it's like
Yeah.
next week is not a given for them either. Everybody keeps talking
It's not.
about,
Yeah.
the game at the end of the season. Like, hello, y'all play Maryland next
Right.
week. I don't want to hear nothing about Ohio State until after the Maryland game. Like, stop talking about it.
Yeah, yeah. So,
That was
I mean,
aggressive,
for
but
me, I guess that, I mean, that's why I want to. So, when I described the game as being a disaster to you, that's what I meant. They won the
yeah,
game, but did
right,
they get better?
right.
Did you see them getting better? I didn't see them getting any better at all.
Mm-mm,
Were it
mm-mm.
not for the defense, Michigan probably would have lost today. The
Yeah,
defense played
which the
well up until a
defense
point.
up until a point, right? Exactly, up until a
Yeah,
point because they did well in the
yeah,
first quarter, but then the second quarter, like, but
yeah,
some of that wasn't on them
yeah.
because they had those turnovers and stuff like that on the offense. But
Yeah, the bright
yeah,
side was Andrew Marsh. I mean, I
oh
think
my
Michigan
god.
had they have a playmaker at the wide receiver
Mm-hmm.
spot.
Mm-hmm.
But,
So
I mean, he
whatever
had
y'all need
12
to pay that
catches
man, pay
to keep
him.
him. Yeah.
Don't let that man
People
leave
keep
because that's the one
saying,
saving grace we have on the outside with Michigan right now because clearly it's a team that
yeah,
loves the
yeah,
run game. And mind you, like you just said, 2 of our running backs, both of them could be out for the rest of the season, which is not
yeah.
ideal. So you're going to need that in Andrew Marsh.
And it's like they came out in that first half making a concerted effort to get him involved in the play, in the
Yeah.
play calling or whatever. And they did a good job. I think he had like 8, 9 catches, I think, in the first half
Mm-hmm.
alone, had over
Mm-hmm.
100 yards receiving. And then in the second half, they stopped throwing in the ball. I think
Yeah.
he only had like maybe 2 or 3 catches in the second half. But,
Mm-hmm.
it was good to see that, they were getting him involved in the game plan and he was making plays for him.
Yeah.
He looked really good today. So
Yeah.
that's a bright spot, I guess, that, and
Yeah. Silver
I've been saying
lining.
all along that I thought McCauley and Andrew Marsh
McCully
were
and
good
Marsh were,
receivers today.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But Bryce Underwood was just struggling.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to some extent, that kind of continued today. I mean, he had good
Yeah.
numbers. The game was closer than it should have been. Michigan
Mm-hmm.
dominated. They had like almost 500 yards of total offense, I think. They had twice the number of first downs that Northwestern had. But it was the self-inflicted wounds. You had the
Right.
fumble on the punt return.
Called
Underwood
back
threw a
for a holding call then
got
they
the
had a
first
touchdown, that call
touchdown.
come
Yeah, the
back.
first drive of
Yeah.
the game. I forgot about that. Yeah, they had the
Yeah.
holding penalty. They brought that one back. Then
Yeah,
Savada
2
missed
missed
the
field
field
goals.
goal.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah,
like
so it
you
was
left
just,
several points out there that, it could have
yeah,
been way
yeah,
farther. Just like you said, self-inflicted wounds of, shoulda, woulda, coulda, that the score could have been a lot farther away than it
yeah.
is. Yeah.
The game should have been a blowout, but Michigan
Yeah.
kept Northwestern in the game with all the
In the game,
turnovers.
they have all their
So
mistakes.
you give Northwestern credit. I mean, they were forcing Michigan into those bad
Yeah.
plays or whatever, but
Yeah.
just, I don't know.
Yeah.
You won the game, so I give you credit for that, but
Yeah.
it's just got to be better, man. You can't
You
put that effort on the field against Ohio State and win the game. It's just not going to happen.
No, against any
It's
team. I
not going
mean,
to
like I
happen.
said, as
Yeah.
the competition gets further, and if you want to talk
Hmm.
about, the possibility of Michigan getting to the college football playoffs, the possibility of them getting to the Big Ten championship, a
Right.
lot of things have to happen for them and to other teams for
Hmm.
that to happen. But you can't play the way you play today and then expect that to be
No.
the result that you get every single time. It's not going to happen.
No, it was a little disheartening, even though they won the
Yeah.
game, but
Yeah.
a win's a win.
And wins a win. And one thing I do want to say before we move on,
Mhm.
I made the point in my last TikTok video about the dynamic duos with the Michigan teams. It seems
Mhm.
like the Wolverines could have a dynamic duo with Bryce Underwood and Andrew Marsh if they continue to stay and click and develop because they're both freshmen,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
They could be benefiting from that on
It
those
could be.
teams. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Well, then you throw Jordan Marshall in there too. I mean,
Oh,
he's a
yeah.
freshman as well. But I'm thinking, no,
Triple threat.
maybe I
I
don't know if
think
he's a
I
freshman
thought
because
he
I
was a
remember
sophomore because
I think he's a
he was at
sophomore, yeah, because I remember
yeah,
him
yeah,
playing
yeah.
in the game against Alabama in the bowl game last year.
Alabama.
So
Yeah.
maybe he's a
Yeah.
sophomore.
Well, we'll have 2
So
dynamic duos and then a triple threat. How about that? There we go. There we
yeah.
go. But I will say I was kind of going back and forth with the
Mhm.
Michigan game and another game that was on because there was a potential huge upset that happened today in the SEC, but ended up being the biggest comeback in their program history.
Yeah.
South Carolina and Texas A&M. These dudes was down 30-3,
At
okay?
halftime.
At
At
halftime.
halftime. Yeah.
And
At
something told
halftime.
me turn that game on because Texas A&M is going to come back and win the game, and I'm so happy that I did. But I mean,
Yeah.
Texas A&M was just falling apart that whole entire first half. They
They
did not
were.
look like the number 3 team in the country. I was like, "What is happening?" They looked
Yeah.
terrible. Terrible. Everything that could have went wrong for them went wrong, and everything that could have went right for South Carolina was going right for them
Went right.
during that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down 30-3 at halftime and then shut them out in the second half,
Right.
to
Like
which they had to do unless they wouldn't have
they
won the
had to do it.
game.
They wanted to win the game.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was looking to be one of the biggest upsets so far this season,
Mhm.
and something just happened in that second half. Texas
Yeah.
A&M got their act together, and like you said, the biggest comeback in school history, down 27 points, and
Yeah.
you come back and win the game. The quarterback threw for almost 400 yards, I think, ultimately in that game.
Mhm. I mean, yeah, because
It
the
was
first half he was playing kind of panicked. You know,
yeah,
he just kept making mistakes back to back to back. He had a couple interceptions in the second quarter that
right.
happened. At that point, he was playing not to lose very early on, and like you said, something just
Mhm.
seemed to click on all fronts for them in that second half because they
And it was
played a perfect game almost in the second
in the
half.
second half. It was the tale of two halves, right? South
Yeah.
Carolina dominated the first half, won that
Mhm.
first half by 27 points. Texas A&M won the second half by 28 points. You
Yeah.
know, so and the game was at College Station
It was
too,
at Kyle Field. Yeah.
which was weird that Texas A&M seemed like they came out a little flat, you
Right.
know, because the crowd usually have those guys hyped up and ready to go, but for whatever reason, it didn't
Yeah.
look like they were ready to play. And
Right.
South Carolina took advantage of it. I mean, and at the
Yeah.
halftime, you saw the coach running off the field, giving it to the crowd a little bit, like, "Yeah, what y'all gonna do
Yeah.
now? We got this." And then in the second half, he was walking off like this.
Right there. I mean, he said that he was going to puke. So when I said that they would probably be
Yeah,
sick, he was actually physically unwell because
I'm
that
pretty
man
sure he
was shook.
was.
I mean, because apparently, I
Yeah.
guess with South Carolina this year, they've struggled a lot with in the fourth quarter with finishing games, and now they're 1-7 in the SEC
Yeah.
this year. So I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's not good, which
not looking
again
good.
is why I said it was looking like it was gonna be one of the biggest upsets of the
Biggest
season so far,
upsets,
but,
yeah, exactly.
you know,
Yeah,
it didn't
yeah,
turn
and
out that way.
unbeknownst to me,
Texas A&M
I
got it
didn't
together.
know that Texas A&M has never been to the SEC championship as long as they've been in the SEC because they've had some
No,
pretty decent
good
years in
teams.
the
Yeah,
past. Like
good
when it was with
teams.
Johnny Manziel, they never went to the SEC championship when they had
Mm-mm,
him as a quarterback.
mm-mm.
That was surprising to me. I didn't know that.
Shows you how good the SEC has been over the years. You know, Alabama has always been dominant. Then you would
Yeah,
have years
yeah,
where LSU would be
right.
dominant.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
it just goes to show, but it's
yeah,
looking like they still got a couple games to go here,
yeah,
but it's looking like right now they're the top dog right now in the SEC. I mean,
for sure.
they're the number 1
Oh,
team,
yeah, they're definitely I
you
would say they're
know?
definitely the strongest.
Mhm.
I mean, and then we saw, which we'll get into, we saw how Texas did against Georgia, and they played them on Black Friday for Thanksgiving. So that'll be
Mhm.
a rivalry reborn now that both teams
Yeah,
are in the SEC again with each
SEC,
other. But
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, the number 2
So
team in that conference coming into today was Alabama,
mm,
and look what happened to them.
Alabama OU.
They lost that game to Oklahoma,
Not
and
only
it's
did they lose, they lost at homecoming, and then they lost in front of Nick Saban. Like, come on,
yeah.
like coach is back in the stadium. Y'all gonna lose. This is not the right time to do that.
And you know that game, it was kind of similar to the Michigan Northwestern game because Alabama
Yeah.
dominated the game statistically. They had almost twice as many total yards as Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
but they also had 3 turnovers that
Right.
Oklahoma converted to
Almost.
17 points.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the difference of the game. I mean, they only lost the game. What was the final score?
20
23 to 22,
21.
something like that. Yeah. And you know, you give up 17 points on turnovers.
Yeah,
That's the difference of the game, you
yeah.
know, and it's a huge loss for Alabama.
Especially against a team like OU who people had kinda started to pretty much write off because they
Hmm.
had lost to Ole Miss, but now they've won 2 consecutive road games. They won against Tennessee, and then they won
Yeah.
against tonight against
Alabama.
Alabama.
Yeah.
And the last
2 big
time that
wins.
they've beaten a top 5 team was back in 2017 when they beat
Oh,
Ohio
wow.
State and Baker
Okay.
Mayfield planted the flag in the middle of
Plant
the
the
field. And
flag. I remember
we
that.
know how Ohio
Okay.
State people feel about planting flags in the middle of the field.
Yeah,
So
they don't
that
want you to
was
do that.
they don't want you
Yeah.
to do that. No, I don't think
They
they
don't want
like
you to
that.
do that.
So, so that was the last time, that OU had that big of a win.
Right.
I forget who else. I think it's LSU and somebody else that OU still has to play.
Missouri, I
They
believe.
could.
I
I
think
think
it's
it's
Missouri.
Mizzou. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
Mizzou. So again, on paper, you would think that they probably could end up winning those games and still be in talks, at
Yeah.
least of college football playoff. I don't think they will really have hopes of. I mean, maybe because Texas lost today, so
Texas lost,
they're
but then they would need Georgia to lose, and I believe they would need Alabama to lose again because Oklahoma, I think they've lost 2 games so
yeah.
far in the SEC, and Alabama only lost 1, and that one obviously
Okay.
was to Oklahoma, but they still have a
Right.
better record in the
Yeah.
conference because I still think right
Yeah.
now with Alabama losing, they still
Mhm.
may be in second place in the SEC, tied with Georgia, but I
Mhm.
think Alabama beat Georgia earlier in the year, so right now I think
Yes, they
Alabama
did.
would have the tiebreak against
They would have
Georgia.
a tie
So
break against them. Yeah.
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 So yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
Oklahoma probably have a realistic shot of making it to the
Mhm.
SEC championship
SEC
game, but they
championship. Yeah.
certainly have a realistic shot of making it to the
Right.
college
Of
football
into
playoff.
football
Yeah.
playoff.
If
Yeah.
they finish
Yeah.
10-2, I think they have a great
Mhm.
chance of making it.
Yeah.
And they'll be
Yeah.
favored in those last 2 games, but
That's what I'm saying. For sure, like on paper,
we'll
those
see.
you would think, because neither of those teams that are playing are ranked. So
Right. They should
just
win
off
those
based off of
games.
that alone, you would think that they're going to win. And two, their
Yeah.
quarterback has been out as well. So this was a pretty big win for them on all fronts.
Hmm.
So if they can continue to do well,
Yeah.
that'll be pretty good for them. I mean, there was, I guess,
Hmm.
Bama came back a little bit because it was like 21-20 at one point, and it was kind of
Yeah, they were
close.
leading.
But
Yeah, they were leading.
yeah, I mean, it started
Mhm.
out pretty rough. Bama came back, and then OU just kind of just took it
Yeah.
away from there. From that point, I mean,
Ty Simpson, he had a lot of yards passing in the first half, but he did have those 2
mhm.
interceptions. Then
He
they
had
had
the
a
2
fumble
interceptions.
on, I
Yep.
think it was on a punt return, dude fumbled the
Something
ball.
like that. Yeah.
Again, Alabama was dominating the game statistically.
Yeah.
They were moving up
Yeah.
and down the field, but they had those self-inflicted wounds,
Right.
and Oklahoma took advantage of it, and ultimately it led to them winning the games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah, I do want to say that has nothing to do really with football. It has to do with the teams, but it has nothing to do with what they played. The OU head coach, Brent Venables, and the Bama head coach, Kalen DeBoer, they look exactly alike. It took me until like the middle of the first quarter to like realize who I was looking at. And it did
Really?
not help that they have the same kind of stature. Both teams are the same colors. Crimson is a shade of
Right,
red. I don't want to hear it. It's
right,
red and white. Both coaches
right.
decided to wear a black T-shirt. So I'm like, dang, why he mad? They got the touchdown. They got the fumble, whatever. I was like, oh, it's because that's not the
Wrong
right
guy. Yeah.
coach. That's like the wrong coach. And even when I figured out, it still took me a minute. Like throughout the game, I was
Mhm.
still getting confused.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
that's all. That's all I have to say. I was getting real discombobulated when I was watching that game. I was like, dang, why he mad? Because that's not the right coach, Brianna. That's why.
Oops, looking at the wrong guy. That's funny.
All
Hmm.
right, so their rival, they lost today. Texas and Georgia. Not them.
Yeah.
They lose. It was BTA
Yeah.
the whole game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. They put they put belt. That's pretty good. Yeah, it was ugly.
BTA for Texas
Yeah,
versus
it was
Georgia. Okay,
35
what was his
to
last name?
35 to 10,
35
was
to
it?
10. Yeah, it did end up
Yeah.
being 35 to
Yeah.
10. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now Georgia has
This was a
beaten Texas twice in a row because they beat them in the
mhm.
SEC championship game last year as well.
So, well, I think that's 3 times in a row they beat them because I think they beat them last year in the regular season as well,
Oh,
if I'm not mistaken.
clock it.
Yeah,
Add
I
another
think they
one.
did. Yeah, I think they
Okay.
did. And this is a
Yeah.
big game for Arch Manning, in my opinion. He
Yeah.
had an
Yeah.
opportunity to silence the critics, if you will, for people
Hmm.
saying that, he hadn't played any, good competition when he was in high
Right.
school, and why people thinking that he was going to be good when he came to college was because of his last name and that sort of thing. It was an
Hmm.
opportunity to kind of shut everybody up, but it didn't happen.
It
He
didn't
looked
happen.
bad.
And Peyton
I
Manning was
mean,
in the
he
building. Like, man, you embarrassing that
yeah.
man too. Come
It
on
was a
now.
big game. It was a big game. It was a big game.
Yeah.
And he wasn't able to rise to the challenge. Let's just say it
Yeah.
like that. Texas looked bad. Georgia looked like the Bulldogs from a couple years ago when they were winning championships.
Oh,
That
I
defense
know.
was
It's been a
all over
minute
the
since they looked
field.
like that too. I mean, like you said,
Yeah,
Georgia would be
they
rolling
look.
up on people. That's exactly how they look tonight
Yeah,
against
they look like
Texas.
they look like one of the top 2 teams in the country tonight.
Yeah.
At least against Texas,
Yeah.
they did. If they ended up in the championship game, I wouldn't be surprised. They look really good.
Yeah, they look very
They
good. I
look
mean,
good.
because you talked about teams that could beat Ohio State. If they play like that, they could.
Absolutely.
That team looked amazing. No, what I was saying was the onside kick that they had after they scored the touchdown, right in the beginning of the
Mhm.
4th quarter, they had that
Yeah.
onside kick. I was like, usually they do that at the end of the game, but is that one of the rules
Right.
that have changed where you can do an onside kick at any point in the game now? You don't have to just
It
wait until the last kind of
it's
possession or chance to win?
it's always been that way. They just recently
Oh,
changed it in the NFL,
the
but the rule, as
NFL,
far as
okay.
I know, it hasn't changed in college. You can do an
Okay,
onside kick
okay.
whenever you want. I mean,
Right.
whether I think the NFL now, you have to tell the
You have to
other team
tell
like, "Hey,
yeah,
we about to do
you're
it," so you can't
right.
surprise them. And then I
Yeah,
don't know if you're leading. I don't know in the NFL if you can do it. I'm saying
yeah.
I think
'Cause it just
only the
seemed
team
greedy. I
that's
was like, "Man, y'all
trailing.
just scored and y'all get an onside kick," and then they scored again, ended
It's
up getting more
it's
points on the board. I was
it's
like,
it's ideal, man, because in that situation, it's the element of surprise, right?
"Yeah,
You just
yeah."
scored,
You're not expecting them
you
to do
leading the
that.
game. It's early in the second half. The other team is not expecting you to do an
No.
onside kick, so it's a perfect. It's a risk. It's high
Right.
risk, high reward, right? Because if the other team recover the ball, now you're giving them great field position. But
Exactly.
if you recover the ball,
I
now you
mean,
really have the momentum going
right.
in your favor. I was
Yeah,
at a
and that's
Super Bowl
exactly what
once.
happened.
The one Super Bowl that I did go to was Super Bowl, I think it was 44 when the Colts played the Saints.
It's in Miami, right?
It was in Miami. It was when the Colts
Mhm.
played the Saints.
Mhm.
Sean Payton came out of halftime.
Oh,
People weren't even settled down in their seats yet from going to the concessions. And he came out of halftime and did a surprise onside kick that changed the entire momentum of the game because the Saints recovered it.
really?
Nobody was
Okay.
expecting it. Nobody was
Yeah.
expecting it. I was sitting there going like, what happened? I think I'm getting ready to see Peyton Manning come back on the field. And these guys do an onside kick and they recover it, and it changed it changed the whole complexion of the game, and they ultimately won.
Right.
So
Nice,
it's a
nice.
good play. Like I said, it's high
Yeah.
risk, high reward. I don't like that the NFL has changed that rule to
Mm.
where you can't do it if you're leading. Even when you're trailing, you have to
Yeah.
declare to the other
Declare
team
the
like, "Hey,
onside kick. Right. Yeah.
we about to do an onside kick here." So it's like,
Yeah.
I
Interesting.
don't, I don't, I don't like it. But I guess they do it for safety reasons. I mean, I don't know. If it's for
Right.
safety reasons, then why allow it at all?
Right.
Right? So
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
I just don't like the rule.
Yeah.
But it
Okay.
worked out for
Well,
Georgia.
it worked
It
out for
worked out for
Georgia.
them.
Like I said, that was crap. I was watching it and I was like, I was kind of like, oh, like, why'd they do that? And I was like, that was
Yeah.
greedy as all get out. Like, y'all
Mhm.
just scored and
Very
then they
smart.
recovered.
That's it.
Steve
Mhm.
Sarkeesian is kind of a tongue twister. I mean, he was just looking
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
I think at that moment he knew. I mean, to me, that kind of sealed the game. And it was like 14 minutes left on the clock in the 4th quarter. I was like, yeah,
Right.
Texas is done, dog. They're done.
It's done. Yeah,
And
he
they're
knew.
finished. Yeah.
And
That was it.
that's what makes it such a great play because again,
Yeah.
if it's successful, it's a
Yeah.
backbreaker to the other team. Because if
Yeah.
you're kicking off, that means you just scored, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're doing it coming out of halftime.
Right.
That means you just scored and now you
Mm-hmm.
did an onside kick and you get the ball back again. Now you have another opportunity to score, which means like
Right.
you could put maybe 14 points on the scoreboard without the other team even having an opportunity to touch the ball.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's huge. It's
Yeah.
huge if it works
For
out for
sure.
you.
Well,
So
go Dogs, I guess. They did.
yeah. Yeah, they're gonna
That's
be
what
there
they're
in the
gonna do.
end. I think Georgia
For
will be there
sure.
in the end for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Penn State as well, going back to the Big Ten. I just saw they beat Michigan State earlier
They
today.
beat
So after
Michigan
that
State. Yeah.
crazy unfortunate game last week against Indiana and their crazy season
Yeah.
in general, I'm happy
Yeah.
that they got a win. So good for Penn State. It was really good for
Good
Penn
for Penn
State.
State. They
I mean,
finally broke their what 6 game losing streak, whatever it was that
six-game
they
losing
were
streak,
on.
something like that. Yeah. Yeah, not to get out of order, but we were talking about like the Big Ten championship thing possibility last week. Nothing that happened this week is helping Michigan. Even though Michigan won, so did SC, so did
Hmm.
Oregon, so did Ohio
Yeah.
State, so did Indiana.
Yeah.
Like all the teams that are above them,
They
it's
want
not
to.
looking likely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It
they
was
won
looking
as
good for
well.
on the USC front. It was looking good for a minute because
Right.
they
For a
were losing
minute,
to Iowa.
they were telling them against
Uh,
Iowa. Yeah, and then they came back and
like
won the game,
21-7 or something like that, and they
something
came
like
back
that.
and
Yeah.
won 26-21.
Yeah,
So,
exactly that. Yeah, so
but Michigan's got to beat Ohio State at the end of the season for any of that to even matter. If they do that, then they have an opportunity maybe to be in that game, and they have an
yeah,
opportunity maybe to be in the college
be in
football
the playoff.
playoff.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah. We shall
Maybe they
see.
saving
We
it
shall
up till
see.
then. We'll see because what I've seen from them so far this season, I'm just not impressed. They're 8-2, but I'm just not impressed.
Yeah, see, now
Just
you're
not
being
impressed.
facetious because
No,
they're
no,
not
I'm
saving enough
serious. I
for you.
mean,
No, I
yeah,
no, I know what
yeah,
you were
they're not.
debating previously that
Yeah,
people were you expect me to believe that they're saving something up for Ohio State. You
yeah.
don't think that they're
Yeah, I
saving
am being
anything up for
facetious
them.
with that. No, they're
Yeah,
not. This
yeah,
is it.
you're being
What you
facetious.
see
That's
from
not
Michigan is what you get.
is what
Yeah.
you get.
I mean, the
Yes.
offensive line struggled. I mean, he gave up 3 sacks. And then
Yeah.
conversely, Michigan didn't have any sacks against
Yeah.
Northwestern, which is surprising because Michigan's front is pretty good. They usually put a
Pretty
lot of
good.
pressure on the quarterback. They forced no turnovers and had 0 sacks in that game. So,
Yeah.
and all of this coming out of a bye week. So that's a little disheartening there. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Maybe
well,
they
we
were
got the
rusty.
Lions. Yeah.
Maybe they're rusty. So,
Well, we got the Lions tomorrow. The Pistons have swept Philly, so now it is the
hmm
Lions' chance to beat Philly. The injury
it's going to be
report is
tough.
scaring me. It's gonna be a tough game
It's gonna
for
be tough.
the
Yeah.
Lions tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I mean, like you
Ooh.
said, there are a number of guys that are on the injury report. They put Sam Laporta on IR, so
Are
he's gonna miss 4
4
games.
games.
The only good thing about that is that those 4 games will happen in an 18-day span because the
Oh,
Lions play 4 games over the next 18 days.
okay.
So that's the only good news about it is that
Okay.
maybe he'll be, if he's depending on the injury, it's
Mhm.
only 4 games. He'll be back in December for the stretch run, but
Right.
still a big loss.
I
You're
mean, we still
missing most of
have
the guys
the
in
Giants, we still
secondary,
have Cowboys, still have
Packers.
Packers,
You have
and
the
then we
Packers
have the
on
Eagles
Thanksgiving.
tomorrow.
Yeah, those are the 4 games that he'll miss. Eagles, Giants, Packers,
Dang-nabbit.
Cowboys. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean,
And
it's,
nothing
it's,
is a
it's good
given in the
news, bad
NFL,
news.
so
No, it's not. I mean, it's good news, bad news, right? I mean,
yeah,
because you're gonna miss these games, but you got these guys that's on the IR, but hopefully they're not season-ending injuries.
injuries,
So
yeah.
if they can just stay afloat and get to the playoffs, they're gonna get a number of their front line guys back.
Mhm.
Hopefully Laporta comes back. Hopefully DJ Reed will be back here sometime in December. Malcolm Rodriguez will be back. Marcus Davenport will be back. Terrion Arnold will be back. Kirby Joseph should be back. I mean, so that's 6 guys right there that haven't played a lot. I mean, Terrion Arnold's been playing, but he's been in and out the lineup
In
because
and
he's been
out.
hurt.
Yeah,
Laporta
and
was
he
playing.
hasn't been 100% either,
Yeah, so that's the
yeah.
good news. It's not like last year when we had all these season-ending injuries. Hutchinson went down, McNeil went down, Rodriguez went
Still
down. I mean,
traumatized. God.
Marcus Davenport went down. I mean, the whole defensive line went down for the season
Yes.
last year. So that's the good news, I guess.
Right.
The bad news is that you still got to play these games without them until they get back.
Till they
So
get better
yeah, so it's gonna be tough, man. I mean, it was gonna be tough playing the Eagles with all of those
with
guys,
all those guys.
but now you're gonna be playing without him, especially with Laporta. That's a huge loss. Second leading receiver on the team, that's not gonna be huge. But it presents an opportunity for other guys, right? Other
Mhm.
guys have to step up. So we'll see.
Next man up. Next man up.
Next
Well,
man up. Yeah.
we'll have more to talk about that on our Tuesday episode after the game, so you will be live and reporting from the building tomorrow.
I
So,
will. It's gonna be cold. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be cold outside tomorrow. So
bring a jacket, bundle up.
I'm gonna have to. Got my thermals, got my hand warmers, so I'll be all right.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
Michigan blood in you that you had your whole life is gone.
Yeah.
You're not acclimated
Yeah.
no more.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for tuning into our Week 12 recap of college football this week. Of course, if you haven't already, please go ahead and follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. That way you get updated whenever we upload an episode. And of course, it also helps us out as well. All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.
All right, y'all. Stay here till we get back.